Hello, everybody. Welcome to Bluebird and Bee Tarot. I am so excited that you are here today in order to dive into this question with me, which is, what are they going to decide? What will their decision be? So this can be, I feel like for a lot of people, this is going to be about an SP. This is going to be about your romantic partner or a potential romantic partner. And what will their decision be with something that concerns your connection? But you can certainly watch this reading from the perspective of what will someone's decision be that has some kind of involvement in your career space. It can be a friend, it can be a family member. I'm going to really make a strong attempt to read the cards in a way that really could be looked at as any decision and not make it just solely romantic. But like I said, I do feel like there's a strong energy of people that have come to the reading for answers about a romantic connection. So if you are watching it about another kind of relationship, another kind of connection, then you can just set aside anything that comes through that's explicitly romantic and take the rest as it resonates. Okay, so I'm very excited that you're here today. So let's take a look at the three piles. So first we have the Naked Heart Tarot with this beautiful piece of rose quartz. Okay, and I'm going to show, because we're talking about a decision, I'm showing the Judgment card for all of the decks. Okay, and then we have the Lumiere Tarot with this gorgeous piece of amethyst. And this is the Judgment card. Okay, and then we have the Flights of Fantasy Tarot with this really stunning piece of green aventurine. And this is the Judgment card. Okay, so I'm going to give you a moment to choose your pile to see which pile you are most drawn to. There can absolutely be messages for you in more than one pile. If the time that I give you here on the video is not enough, certainly you can pause the video until you do feel drawn to one of the readings. The timestamps are down below, and I will see you at your reading. Hello, pile one. So if you chose the Naked Heart Tarot or this really lovely piece of rose quartz, you have arrived at your reading. So let's dive in. Spirit, the person who is on pile one's mind, what is their decision? What decision are they going to make? What choice are they leaning toward, please? The person on pile one's mind, please, Spirit. This decision that they are weighing, what are they leaning toward? Okay, pile one's person, Spirit, what are they leaning toward? What decision will they make? Okay, so this person, wow, yeah, this person is really growing right now. They might be quite confused right now. They may be in a real spiritual ascension period which I don't know who out there has gone through a spiritual ascension. It is very scary at times. It sounds so beautiful, right? It sounds so like, yes, I'm a blossoming flower. This is going to be so amazing. I'm going to be so connected to spirit. And it is that, but there's also another side to it where you're having feelings you've never had before. You're having experiences that don't make sense to you. The ground under your feet no longer feels stable. And I think that that is where this person is. And I think that the decision that they are going to make, at least in the short term, is to isolate, to get very quiet. The first card we have here says retreat, take a break to clear your mind and energy, ground yourself. And yeah, it's absolutely that idea of ground yourself. They need to feel the ground solid under their feet. And I don't think they know how to do that. I think everything is spinning around them. And I mean, this could be something having to do with you, or it also just could be life. This could just be, their life is a bit out of control. There's so many transitions going on. And so I think that they are feeling a real draw toward taking a deep breath, slowing everything down, and really getting in touch with their inner intuition, their inner self. But also, I think that they are seeking guidance. Like this central card says, from their ancestors, guidance, protection, and lessons. And then this deck is from a card called Goddesses Among Us. And it's Mott, which is justice, balance, and truth. They're absolutely seeking balance. I think that along the way, they are going to find justice and truth, but what they are seeking is balance. They just want to feel like the world stops spinning, even if for a few minutes. Yeah, I want to point out some numbers that are making themselves known here. We've got 20, which reduces to 2, and then we've got 9. So I think, February or the 2nd of a month could be significant, or then the 9th of a month or September could also be significant. Yeah, they also, I'm really noticing the continuity of a yellow flower. So the color yellow or a yellow flower could have some significance in the connection as well. Yeah, and also I'm really noticing this idea of the flower representing a sunrise. Because I feel like this is a tough one. Because I was about to say, I don't think they're going through a true dark night of the soul, but then I'm like, who am I to say? Melanie out here, like the arbiter of who's going through a real dark night of the soul. No, but I feel like they are experiencing it as a dark night of the soul for sure. And yeah, they're just looking for this sunrise. But that impulse I had to say, I don't know if it's a true dark night of the soul, but they're experiencing it as one. That may be the same kind of self-doubt that they are also experiencing. They may be telling themselves like, oh, it's not as big of a deal as you're making it. Oh, you shouldn't be this unsettled over these experiences that you're having or these feelings that you're having. You're making too big of a deal of it. And yeah, judging yourself is never an effective way to go into a spiritual ascension. You have to trust yourself. So I do think that this is going to ultimately be really good for this person, that they are going to reach a place of balance where they do trust themselves, where they trust their own inner truth, where they trust their own moral compass with justice here. But they need this time to learn these lessons. This is not an option. They need this time, but I feel like they are really making a good decision in seeking it. Tell me more, Spirit. Tell me more, please. Tell me more. Now this took a real turn because I think this might not be true for every single person in pile 1, but I feel like for a good amount of people, your person has really looked to you for a long time as their touchstone, as their North Star. I feel like for a long time, they may have been substituting your spiritual judgment for theirs, your moral judgment for theirs. This doesn't have to be you in this position. I feel like for a lot of people it is, but this could be their parents. You know, they have for a long time looked to their parents to provide that what you filter things through, the rubric that you use to determine if something is right or wrong. They might have looked to a religion for a long time to define that for them. But now they are starting on this journey of learning it for themselves. Yet it's so interesting to me that, so we got 2 cards that are pages. In most decks, it's pages. It's called Innocence in this deck. Innocence of Wands and Innocence of Swords. Yeah, and I mean, the Innocence of Swords is literally the student of the tarot deck. The 8 of Pentacles also is about learning. It's kind of a mentor protege twist on learning, but it is about taking a skill or taking a topic from beginner level to full mastery. And I think that this person is so involved in breaking away from the metric they used to use to make these decisions for them. And now they're understanding they need to learn to make these decisions for themselves. And with the 2 of Cups, they may have been in a situation, so maybe a past relationship, maybe a religion, maybe the family of origin in which they were raised, where they were told, you can't trust your heart. You can't trust your instincts. You can't trust your intuition. You can't trust your own moral compass. There are a lot of high control religions that people were raised in that tell them if your moral compass tells you something that is different than the tenets of this religion, then you're supposed to trust the rules. Your heart is trying to deceive you. And this person, I think, is going through a very earth-shaking, it's hard to describe the depths to which I feel like this is changing their view of everything in the world. They are learning to navigate by their own heart, by their own compass. And this is not easy. This is not easy. So I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, pile 1, this may hurt to hear, but I wouldn't be surprised if this person actually needs some space from you. Not because they don't want to be around you, but because I feel like they look to you too much as an example. Like I said, as a North Star, and they need to learn to be their own North Star. I think that they worry that they won't be able to achieve this independence if you are in close proximity to them, because it would feel so much easier, so much more comfortable, so much more safe to just substitute your judgment for theirs, because they don't trust their judgment yet. But the journey to trusting their own judgment is what they are meant to be on right now. And pile one, I'm sure it hurts you like to your core that you are not just an integral part of that journey. But I think the key to the whole situation is right here in the Eight of Pentacles. They are afraid that if they share this journey with you, that they will automatically just turn to you as a mentor, and that they will, I mean, this is not about you. This is not about you asserting any kind of dominance or any kind of authority or anything like that. This is about them knowing that they need to stand on their own 2 feet. But if you are available to them, like, you have such a beautiful heart, such a beautiful soul, and they view you probably accurately as being so much more spiritually evolved and ascended than they are. And they know that they will look to you as this mentor, and they will just slip into this cycle where they are only learning your philosophies and they are only navigating by your compass. And I think at least instinctively and intuitively, they know they can't do that. They need to rise up and be their own person. And yeah, they need to, in order for the two of you to be able to exchange this beautiful Two of Cups energy. I mean, look at these hearts. These hearts are mirror images of each other. And right now you are significantly advanced. And so this person, they're playing catch up. And it's a process they need to do on their own. So like I said, I feel like this is not their forever decision, but in the short term, I feel like their decision is going to be to isolate for the purpose of growth. Yeah, but the good news is it is with a purpose. And also I think that you should feel very honored, because I feel like you had a lot to do with triggering this epiphany, really, that they have had. I mean, I feel like you have had a lot to do with opening their eyes to a new worldview. And like I said, that might feel like cold comfort in the moment, because you're like, okay, but I just want them to be with me. That's what I actually want. But in the long run, this is going to be good. This is going to be really good for the two of you in the long run. And also, I mean, they are really in the thick of it right now, so they don't have the perspective to look back on it, on this journey, and appreciate you in this way, but they will ultimately look back on you as such a pivotal figure in their life, such a hero. Like, you really are. You're a freaking superhero, pile one, and you should feel really honored. And you're not even going to believe like the badass version of this person that comes back to you after this period of isolation. You're going to be so impressed. And I think that that's important too, because I think that, not that they're going on this journey to impress you, but I think that impressing you is a very sweet reward. And I think that the two of you are going to connect in a way that is so new and so beautiful after this period of isolation is over. Okay, so that is what I have for you, pile one. I hope that it resonated in a way that brought you some clarity, some insight, some food for thought. If this did resonate, I would love it if you would like. That helps the video to spread. If you'd like to see more content like this, it would mean so much to me if you would subscribe, even put the channel on bell notification. I'd love it if you'd comment below. I'd love to hear your feedback. I'd love to interact with you. If you want to connect with me for a personal reading, the instructions on how to do that are in the description. But what I want to wrap up by letting you know is that I am proud of you. I am so proud of you. I know that being the person who's waiting for someone else to catch up in their journey is not an easy position to be in, but I feel like you have done it like a champ, and that you really do have so much like beautiful, tender heart energy toward this person, and you genuinely want the best for them. So I really am, pile one. I'm so, so proud of you. You matter. You are loved. You are worthy, and you are enough. Okay, bye, pile one. Hello, pile two. If you chose the Lumiere Tarot or this gorgeous piece of amethyst, then you have arrived at your reading. So let's get into it. Let's find out the person on your mind. What will their decision be? What will their decision be? Spirit, pile two's person. What will their decision be? What choice are they going to make? Okay. What choice are they going to make? I will say already that this could potentially be the same person from pile one. Like there could be people that were drawn to pile one and pile two, and that this is the same person, but just a little bit further down their journey. Ooh, so pile two, your person is finding their passion. Yeah, look at this. The goddess here is Pele, fire, tradition, respect. Then we have spring, a period of renewal and bloom. We've got sacred feminine, creation, receptive, nurture. Yeah, and the idea of fire also really ties into me with the idea of creation, and also really ties in for me with the idea of bloom. So your person is coming into their own here. So let me narrow it down to what this means for a big decision on the horizon. Yeah, I feel like this could mean different things depending on what the exact decision they're making is. But I feel like whatever decision they're facing, they're making the choice that pulls them further toward their creative vision. So if this is, am I going to move away to go to, fashion design school? Yes, absolutely. If this is, am I going to pack all my stuff in a car and drive to LA and try to make it as a singer-songwriter? Again, 100% yes. They are going to do that. 3 might be an important number here because we've got 36 and 31 here. So also age could be a factor here. They might be coming up on an age when they feel like it's now or never, because I don't really hear this so much anymore, but it used to be that the idea of turning 30 was a big deal. Like if you hadn't gotten married by 30, if you hadn't, achieved some huge success by 30, there were all these lists in magazines, the top 30 under 30. And yeah, so when I said those numbers out loud, they struck me as ages. And so I think that this person, it doesn't necessarily have to be that they're reaching an age that's in their 30s, but they're reaching some age. That age is different for different people and different goals. But they feel like if I don't pursue this creative goal now, it's never going to happen because I'm entering a phase in my life where it won't be as feasible. But yeah, I also feel like, first of all, I think that they are right to pursue their creative passions right now. That feels very right to me. It feels very like the puzzle pieces clicking into place. But I also think they're wrong about their age, because the phrase spring chicken just popped into my mind. And yeah, I think we just live in a world now with the rise of social media where it's not like those old rules don't exist in any way. Like, if you're 50, you're probably never going to be the next big pop star. Do you know what I mean? Like, there are some things where we do, as we age, move on to new phases and new goals. But I would venture to say that with social media, there's no age where you can't find your people that connect with your art and your creativity. Because, yeah, people are so searching for just authenticity and someone who speaks to them at their heart level. And so, yeah, I would also, I think that this person is making a decision to go somewhere, to move somewhere. I think this person is making a decision to pursue their creativity in another space because they feel like that is necessary. Again, though, I don't think it is. I think that the next upcoming soonest decision that they're going to make is going to lead them farther away from you. I'm sorry to say that. I know that might be hard to hear. But I think that the experience that they have as a result of that decision is going to lead them to understand that what they were chasing was inside them all along. And yeah, that the fulfillment, the expression, that the education that they were looking for was really available right where they were and at their fingertips all along. But I don't think they can learn this without taking this journey. I think they have to, this is their own personal sort of coming of age, going into the wilderness kind of journey, and they have to do it. There's no substitute for experience to teach you the things that experience only can teach you. And I feel like they have to, no one explaining that to them is going to ever hit the same way. I also feel like this person, I think that they look at their current surrounding as being very stifling to them creatively and maybe even spiritually, because the sacred feminine has a lot to do with spiritually as well. This could have to do with, there are a lot of through lines in the artwork on the 3 cards here that represent something about each of these women's cultures. So it could also be that they feel like they're being held back by traditions, the traditions of their culture, the tradition of their religion, something like that, that they need to express something that is outside of that. So I do think that they feel stifled in their current environment, and I feel like they look at a lot of the people that are surrounding them as like those people, any advice they give them has an ulterior motive of sort of trying to nudge them back in line. And I'm not saying they're wrong about that. That is likely true. So I think that they need to go on this quest, and you know, maybe they're going to ask you to go with them, though, pile 2. Because I do also get a feeling that, like, you two are little rebels together. I don't think you're part of this group that they look at as being very stifling and rules and things like that. In fact, if anything, I feel like you are this butterfly that they saw transform, and it inspired in them, it sparked in them the idea that they also could transform. So this may be an adventure that you go on together. But I do think that, Yeah, so I think that they are going to ultimately land in a place where their creative expression incorporates a lot of these traditions and aesthetics. I think aesthetics has a lot to do with it that they were raised with. But I think it's going to have their own, they're going to put their own stamp on it. And I think that ultimately they are going to reach a place where they are saying something so new and so powerful. And I think it's going to speak in general to the population at large, but I think it's really going to speak to other people who have walked a similar journey to the two of you, in that they find themselves in very restrictive environments for whatever reason, but they can feel that yearning in their heart that tells them, you're made for more than this. Like, you're more of an individual. You will never thrive in this environment. I think that it's going to serve to show those people that you can also be a butterfly. There is a life outside of these traditions and rules. You can, and that you don't have to actually abandon them entirely. I think that's an important part. I don't think your person has gotten to that part of their journey yet. I think that's something they're going to be learning in the next segment of their journey. But man, that's a really, when you deconstruct an upbringing and you're figuring out which parts of it, there's such an urge to just purge everything, just be your entirely new person, just like leave it all behind. But what a lot of people end up coming to is finding that there are parts of that upbringing that are still so beautiful to them and still hold so much meaning to them. And so, yeah, where a lot of us end up ultimately landing is we keep the parts that resonate. I mean, it's very similar to what we tell people to do with tarot readings, is take what resonates and leave the rest. And I feel like your person is going to settle into that place that feels so right for them, where this upbringing that they had, they're going to realize that there are some parts of it that are still ring so true to them and are so beautiful to them, but there's a lot they need to leave. And I think that they do actually need some distance from it to sort out which is which. So if that is a decision that brings them further away from you for a while, pile 2, I get that that might be painful, but it's so important. Your person really needs it. Oh, look at the transformation and the butterfly symbol. So important here, my goodness. So yeah, temperance, I feel like temperance is more than just being patient and waiting. Temperance is also, having a real calm and compassion for the person that you're waiting for. It's not the easiest energy to be in by any means, but I think that it will support your person's transformation in a way that is, you would not even be able to quantify the importance of it. Am I holding this deck upside down? I sure am. Yeah, Ace of Swords, clarity, a breakthrough. Okay, so this is, I think, another reason why Spirit is calling you to truly, very intentionally dwell in the energy of temperance, that very calm, peaceful, supportive energy that is almost like a healing balm to people who are around it, is because I think that your person is going to lose a lot of the stability and supports that they currently have when they have realizations about themselves. That they, yeah, I mean, I would almost liken this to a coming out journey, and maybe it is a coming out journey. Yeah, I have a feeling that a lot of the people that they grew up around who are very invested in these strict rules and traditions, they might temporarily or, God forbid, even permanently lose some of those people from their lives. And they're going to need you. They're going to need you when that happens, pile 2. This also is giving me the impression of how there's this gold dusting over the mountains that this figure is rising up behind. It almost gives me the impression of flames, and this, as if this person is a phoenix rising from the ashes, rising from the fire. Yeah, and this with Pele being the goddess of fire. Yeah, this person is going to go through a purifying, cleansing fire. They are going to find out who truly values them for who they are and who values them conditionally, values them only if they toe the line and stay in line. And that's always a valuable, that's a path so many people have walked. It's always a valuable journey. Finding out who is truly your people, you're never going to regret finding that out once you have some perspective. But man, it's one of the most painful journeys you can walk. It's absolutely heartbreaking. And I mean, it is a journey where you do have to burn to the ground in order to rise like a phoenix. And your person is going to need you. And is going to need you to be strong and steady and in this temperance energy. And with the Queen of Coins, your person is going to come out on the other side of this. They are going to come out stronger. They are going to come out more inspired, more brilliant. But it's going to be a process. And it's not going to be an easy one. So, to whatever extent possible, pile 2, what I would encourage you to do is really depersonalize the decisions that the person on your mind is making right now. They are not about you. They are about what your person's soul is drawing them towards. And yeah, and again, I feel like for a lot of you out there, you might be invited to go along on this journey, this what I am viewing as, it could be a metaphorical journey. I mean, for some people out there, the journey might be purely metaphorical, but I feel like this, out of any of the groups, would involve actual travel, actual going somewhere. But whether you are invited along in spirit only or also in body, your person is going to need you. And I know you're going to want to be there for them, but it's not going to be necessarily the easiest for you, because I feel like you are the person who has always seen the potential. You have seen this person, this Queen of Coins that this person is ultimately destined to become. You have always seen them as such. I don't think you've ever really understood how they don't see that in themselves. But for them, they have to go through a very difficult path to unlock what you have always seen. And so that requires patience on your part for them to discover what you have always known is true. But it will be worth it in the end. It will be. It will absolutely be worth it in the end. Okay, so that is what I have for you, pile 2. And I would like just to encourage you that if you enjoyed this reading, if it resonated with you, if you could give the video a like, that really helps it spread. If you would like to see more content like this, I would love it if you would subscribe, even activate bell notification. Sorry for all the like this whole self-promotional part makes me so uncomfortable, but I really do want the channel to grow, and I really am so grateful for everyone who who really is willing to give me some of their time and attention to become part of the community and help the channel grow. It really is from my heart, like deeply from my heart. I am so grateful for that. So yeah, if you would leave a comment below, I love to interact with people in the comments. If you want to connect with me for a personal reading, the instructions on how to do that are in the description. But I want to wrap up by letting you know that I am so proud of you, Pile 2. You matter. And actually I do want to say you matter. Like, you matter to me, you matter to spirit, you matter to so many people, but you so matter to this person. It's difficult to overstate how much you matter to this person. I do just want to make that clear. So again, I'll start the spiel over again. So I do want to wrap up by letting you know that I am proud of you. You matter, you are loved, you are worthy, and you are enough. Okay, Pile 2, see you later. Bye. Hello, Pile 3. If you chose the Flights of Fantasy Tarot or this piece of green aventurine, then you have arrived at your reading. So let's take a look. Let's see. What decision is your person going to make? What will their decision be? What will their decision be? Spirit, tap me into Pile 3's person. What is their decision going to be? Spirit, Pile 3's person, what choice are they looking at? What decision are they leaning toward? What decision are they going to make? Spirit, tell me more. Tell me more about Pile 3's person. What decision are they going to make? Okay, so Pile 3, your person, I feel like your person is on a healing journey right now. And they are trying to recapture a time and an experience of innocence and wonder that existed before. I think your person has a specific trauma that they are really working to rewind their life to before that point. Yeah, we've got inner child, we've got wonder, awe, transcendence, reverence, and then we've got the goddess, I don't know how to pronounce this, a tar goddess, mer magic, deep diving, and transformation. But the thing that just popped into my mind so like boldly was the sea. Like, the sea is healing. People go to the sea. Like, there's a whole cultural connotation of spending time at the seaside for both physical and emotional healing. So I feel like this is, I feel like your person might be on a path where they really need healing, but what they are trying to do is erase the trauma that caused damage here, which is a very common step along the healing journey. I mean, it's denial, right? I mean, in a way, that's denial. This person really thinks that by recreating the circumstances of a simpler and happier time in their life, that they can go back there emotionally. So I think this, in terms of what decision this person is going to make, I think that it's going to be whatever decision. They want to be free. They want to be emotionally free. They want to go back to a time when they didn't feel guilty or like they were letting anyone down or like they were disappointing everyone, and they could just approach the world with a real Page of Cups energy, like a real exploratory energy where they're just soaking up wonder and awe. And although what I'm about to say paints them in a bit of a selfish light, and maybe it is, but I don't think that it's selfishness for the sake of being selfish. I think it's selfishness for the purpose of healing. They're really like very tenaciously chasing healing. But I think that they really can't worry about anyone but themselves right now. And yeah, I can kind of feel, pile 3, from your energy that's hurtful to you, and that you're like, but what about me? Like, aren't they thinking of my feelings at all? Don't they realize what that's doing to me? And to be quite honest, no, I don't think they have room to consider your feelings right now, pile 3. I really don't. Yeah, they are in denial about something that has happened, some inner child wound. I feel like your person has a fairly long way to go still on their journey of really processing and coming to terms with the shadow work that was left behind for them by this wound. Because they are still very steeped in the idea that they can just turn back the clock. You know what I'm seeing really strongly in my mind right now is the scene from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, when they are trying to turn back the speedometer on Cameron's dad's car so that his dad won't realize that they went out on their little day off adventure. But you can't do that. Yeah, speedometers aren't made to work that way. Yeah, you can't turn back the clock. We can only go forward. Yeah, it's like that Anna Nalick song says, you know, life's like an hourglass glued to the table. Like it only goes in one direction. I mean, at least in this plane of existence, time works differently in the 5D, but in this plane of existence, like it's pretty much a one-way street. Yeah, so the explanatory text on the inner child card says, I tell my inner child that I'm sorry. I'm ready to nurture her with love to heal her wounds. That is what this person is going to eventually have to come to, is that you have to recognize that the wounds are there and you have to tend to them. But that is not, they have not reached that point yet. Right now, they're like, wounds? What wounds? It's just a flesh wound. Wow, so many pop culture references are coming through to me in this pile. So that may be a feature of how the two of you communicate with each other, through sending each other song lyrics, quoting, you know, movie quotes, TV quotes. I think that this person might actually need the soothing that they are seeking right now in order to be in a solid enough place where they can even recognize that they do need healing from this very significant event. It doesn't necessarily have to be a discrete event like something that happened over the course of one day. It definitely could be like a childhood filled with neglect and abuse could be the event. You know what I mean? It could have taken place over a span of years. But yeah, it could have been the death of someone early on, someone that they really depended on, and their life might have changed really significantly after that death. Yeah, I feel for your person. Pile 3, I know you're the one that I'm reading for. And I do feel for you as well, because believe me, I understand from having been in your position many times that it is very difficult to be the one who loves someone so much and is sacrificed on the altar of them pursuing, what their own soul is calling them to. And that is very hard. And I definitely do feel for you. And whatever decision they're going to make next, I feel like is going to be a decision that simplifies, pares down, they're really trying to remove any kind of obligation from their life whatsoever. They don't want anybody wanting anything from them. They're very afraid of disappointing people. They don't want to be chewed out for not fulfilling any kind of responsibility. They are really working to take themselves back to a very childlike state. And yeah, so also with all of this oceanic and sea energy that's coming out in this Atargatis card here, that could also represent, it could represent the actual ocean, that they are actually going to the seaside or to the ocean for healing, but also it's making me think of resort style living or vacation living. So yeah, they might be going to, this doesn't have to be the literal ocean. Maybe when they were kids in this very idyllic time, before the flood, basically, maybe they went camping with their family. And so they're going to the mountains because that's that feeling. That's that healing feeling of this very idyllic scenario of childhood. But whatever it is, I do feel like it might involve them going to a place that is very healing for them. And I definitely feel like that they are stripping down responsibilities from themselves to take them back to as simplified and childlike a state as possible. And I hate to say this because I know from experience how painful it is to hear this or to go through this, but I do think that you are going to be part of what they are stripping away from themselves, at least for a time, at least until they become stronger to take back on some entanglements and some responsibilities. But it certainly isn't personal because they are letting go of everything that is not just strictly necessary for survival. If it's not food and shelter, they're letting it go. And again, this is something that I feel like has been really consistent through all three piles, is this is a very necessary part of their journey. I don't think that there is a way forward for them without doing this. Although I will say this, certainly they are still responsible for, how much consideration they show to your feelings. There are ways to accomplish this that are kind, and there are ways to accomplish this that are cruel. And so, yeah, I would take note of, do they have a conversation with you where they let you know at least the broad strokes of what they're going through and what their plans are? Do they ghost you? Do they just start picking fights with you until finally you decide to bid them farewell? You're going to get a lot of information about about who they are at the core as you go through the process of watching them strip away everything and get down to what their core is. But yeah, I mean, even as you do intake that information and file it away for the future, I also would just, understand that you are dealing with someone who is very traumatized and also who I think is dealing with a pretty significant case of arrested development here as well. Yeah, I think that internally they've been operating, say this happened when they were around 7 or something. I'm feeling like 7 to 10 is like a likely age, like preteen, but not into tween yet, but like upper elementary school is kind of the age that I'm feeling. And obviously, like, it's going to be different for every person's situation, but I'm feeling like that's the bulk of the age range. So I feel like they've been operating from that place for a long time. Like, they've been emotionally responding like an 8-year-old. They've been using, the emotional logic of an 8-year-old. Like, they have been in this place subconsciously and emotionally for a while. And now they're just sort of like completing the cycle to where they're actually trying to take their life back to, rewind the clock to just before this thing happened. This decision that they're about to make to pare down and simplify, it's not the final step of this journey. And in fact, it might only be the first, but that it is the next step. And I hate even delivering this message, pile 3, because I can just feel in your energy that this is going to be so heart-wrenching for you. And I know it's easy for me to say, but I feel like to the extent that you can understand that this is not about you and it's not a reflection of how much they care about you. It genuinely isn't. This is truly about them and the trauma that they are absolutely doing their best to deal with. Like, yeah, another water metaphor. I think they're like barely keeping their head above water. Like, they're splashing, they're paddling, they are flailing. And yeah, I think that is why they are making such extreme moves right now, because they are just like, they've reached the end of when they can tread water, and they understand that a change needs to happen because they just can't continue on the way they have been. But I think that it's going to be hard for you. It's going to be hard for you, and I wish there was another way for them. I wish there was another way through this for them. Oh, we've got another appearance of the Ace of Swords that came out in the last... Actually, that came out in the same position in the last reading. Yeah, pile 2, the Ace of Swords came out in the exact same position. Ooh, so with 10 of Cups followed by Ace of Swords, followed by King of Wands. Yeah, so this really could be... So maybe this wasn't a death that happened when they were a kid. Maybe this was, they thought that they were living this sort of idyllic family life, domestic bliss situation. But then something happened that brought clarity to the fact that, the truth really came to light. And, maybe they found out that, like, dad had been cheating, and their very idyllic family fell apart because there was a truth that was brought to light. Yeah, and with the King of Wands, the King of Wands is a visionary. The King of Wands looks around and is like, I feel like we could be doing more. So yeah, it's possible that someone in their past, someone in their childhood left because they wanted more out of life, and that they experienced that very much like a death. Yeah, and so with the Seven of Wands followed up by the Nine of Pentacles, I feel like this was the point in time when they were like, so I'm never going to depend on anybody anymore, and I am just going to exist in my own little world and only depend on myself. But no man is an island or woman. And so I do think that they have recognized that that is not a sustainable system. Again, not sustainable. Can't keep going on like this. Like, they're at a very pivotal point in their journey. It's also very tenuous. Like, they have, in many ways, they've reached rock bottom. They've recognized they can't go on like this anymore. So that's another reason why you might want to really work to not take anything they say or do toward you in the next, little bit of time while they're really executing this decision. Try not to take it personally, because you are dealing with someone who is desperate. And desperate people are not at their best in any way, shape, or form. And yeah, the idea of treading water versus drowning, keeping your head above water, that symbolism, that imagery has come through to me a couple of times. And it does make me think that, one of the dangers of attempting to rescue someone who's drowning is that they are so in panic mode that they will not just relax and allow themselves to be rescued. They're in too much of a panic. And so many times the person attempting to rescue them is also drowned, because that person takes their would-be rescuer down with them. So I think that, yeah, with the Seven of Wands too, I think that any rejection that you experience from them at this time could be them trying to protect you because they don't want to take you down with them. But also I think that you need to be in a self-protective mode right now, pile 3. Like, you need to understand that you cannot sacrifice your own well-being for theirs. That is also not a sustainable system. Yeah, so this person is really, like I said, they are really attempting to just strip their life down to the bare bones. And, like I said, no man is an island, but they are attempting to make themselves as much of an island as possible. And that is interesting, the island imagery in the context of all of this sea and nautical imagery that came through with this goddess card. Yeah, I mean, it's possible that for a few of you, your person is going to a literal island to attempt to isolate. So I'm not gonna lie, pile 3, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I feel like there are some painful times for you ahead, because I feel like your person, this is a journey they can't take you or anyone else along with them on. They've got some solo work they have to do. And I'm also not picking this up as, in a month they're going to be done. Like, this seems like a very deep wound and a lengthy journey they need to walk. So really at this point, it's up to you. Is this person and your connection with them worth holding a space in your heart open for? I would definitely not stop living your life waiting for this person to complete this portion of their journey, because like I said, I think it's going to be lengthy. But you absolutely don't need to leave them in the past either. You can continue to live your life while also sending them love and light, sending them this white light, love and protection, and holding space for them, holding a space in your heart open for them, even as you do continue on your own journey. That's one of the things that I think that you are actually meant to learn, Pile 3, through this decision that they're about to make, is that you are not a supporting player in their journey. They are not the main character of your journey. You are the main character of your journey. And, just like I said, I don't feel like this is a journey that they're going to be able to take anyone else along with them. I think that it's possible that you being the main character of your own story is not a lesson that you could learn with this person closely in the picture. I think you just love this person too much. I think that there is something about this person that just makes you want to say, like, oh, yeah, do you want my heart? Here, take it. I'm not using it. Like, have it. It's yours. And so, yeah, I think maybe you need... It's going to be hard, don't get me wrong, but I do think that ultimately some time and space and distance from this person is going to allow you both to grow in the ways that you need to. So sorry that this message was a bit of a bummer, but from a perspective of your overall soul's journey, like there's some really important lessons that you're both learning during this next phase. And I mean, who's to say that those lessons aren't going to be precisely what you need to learn to bring you back together again? That is very possible. But, that's not going to be the next thing. That's not going to be the next thing on the journey. Okay, so that is what I have for you. If you resonated with this reading, I would love it if you would give this video a like. It helps it to spread. And I so deeply and truly appreciate it. If you enjoy these kinds of readings, well, I mean, enjoy, that may be a strong word for a heavy reading like this. But if you get something out of them, I would love it if you would subscribe, even activate the bell notification. If you want to leave a comment below, I love to interact with people in the comments. If you'd like to connect with me for a personal reading, the instructions on how to do that are in the description. And I want to wrap this up by letting you know, Pile 3, that I am proud of you. I really am. I am so proud of you. This is not easy. And I do feel like you are absolutely doing an amazing job. So I am so proud of you. You matter. You are loved. You are worthy. And you are enough. Okay. Bye.